How's it going, everybody? It's Pilot Flame. How are you all doing? We are back with another FPL video. Today we're going to be looking at captaincy choices going into Game Week 31 plus. If you haven't done so already, make sure to check out our free hit and wildcard videos for Game Week 31 plus as well. Links will be down in the description below. And without further ado, let's get into the video. So what are we looking for in a captaincy option? Well, we're obviously looking at the start for a good fixture. Obviously, you want the player to be playing against a team that they're either going to potentially get a lot of points out of, or the team itself that they're playing against just isn't up to standard. They are conceding a lot of goals. They may be in a bad vein of form. They may just stylistically not be very good versus the player, or may, as an example, open up some space or be very vulnerable to the tactics of the opposing team. So as an example, some teams that like to kind of play the ball out from the back may be a lot riskier against a team that presses quite highly up the field, like Liverpool for an example. Also, you kind of have to take into consideration what they did in their previous encounter. Did this player play in the previous matchup? Yes, it was at a different time where the circumstances were slightly different, and it would have been at the opposing person's ground. However, it is still something to kind of take a look at to see if they're just naturally good against that team. And lastly, you got to kind of look at form. Is the player going into the game with a good run of form? Are they getting a lot of shots off, as an example? Are they keeping clean sheets if you're going to captain a defender? You know, those sorts of things kind of have to play into your mind. Or maybe they may be on a very, large goal drought, and that's something that kind of can put you off maybe captaining them for that game week. Now, moving on to our first choice over on the left-hand side, you can see Mohamed Salah is my first choice for an obvious captaincy. He's going to be fresh and fit. He did not play versus Everton, did not have to get involved in derby matches. His form is going to be something that's going to have to potentially be kind of checked out from last season, or I call it last season, but it was before the break stats. And it just may be something to kind of consider whether you captain him or not. He obviously hasn't had any games previously in the league post restart, and the Everton game would have been the only chance for him to do so, and he didn't participate in the game. However, he is going to be fresh and fit, as the manager mentioned before the game, as well as Andy Robertson, so that may be a boost for him as well. It is a home fixture. It is versus Crystal Palace, who have had 4 wins and 4 clean sheets. So maybe their vein of form might continue. So maybe that puts you off just a little bit. But if City do slip up against Burnley, this could be the best opportunity for Liverpool to basically win the league on their home ground. Obviously, there won't be any fans in the stadium, but they'll take it nonetheless. And lastly, Salah obviously has a great few fixtures left over. And Liverpool as a team, they're at the top of the league for the reason, and you kind of can see any game that isn't basically versus Man United or Man City or Chelsea or somebody like that to be a very good fixture to them, whether it's home or away. The next captaincy choice that I think is a very good shout for Game Week 31 plus is Heung-min Son. He had 4 shots versus Manchester United, 2 of which were on target, and was overall active throughout the game, and his pace could cause a lot of problems for West Ham. They obviously played a lot more reserved against United. Mourinho kind of knows how to play against United, obviously having managed them previously. He knows that if he plays a tight, compact block, a low block very close to their own penalty area, that United will struggle if they didn't have both Pogba and Bruno Fernandes on the field, which happened for the majority of the game. United obviously had some chances here and there, which they could have put away, but obviously once Pogba came onto the field, they started to cause Spurs some real problems. Obviously, they're going to be very good on the counter, which is what Mourinho tried to do versus United, and Son is obviously a big part of that. Him and Bergwijn have shown that they have immense pace, and with the likes of West Ham, who aren't going to be obviously as organized and will leave space in behind, as shown in their game in their 2-0 defeat versus Wolves, this could be a great opportunity for the likes of Son at 9.7 million to be a very good captaincy choice. He was also on set pieces as well, which is something that we obviously haven't seen. Obviously, Christian Eriksen was the main corner taker, the main free kick taker for long periods of time. And Son was taking corners. He was taking kind of more angled free kicks. The central one was obviously taken by Harry Kane. But him being on set pieces could provide a bit more assists for Son and potentially a lot more goals as well. And he also obviously has very good fixtures to end the season. Spurs, obviously, 6 out of their last 7 games, they've failed to pick up points. So it could be a bit of a up and down situation here. But I still think that Son is a good pick. I still think that he favors Mourinho's style of play because he is the counter threat. This style will hinder more of the Harry Kane owners instead, and Son obviously being the cheaper player and in midfield to gain more points is obviously better value in my opinion. Next, we have the current leading goal scorer for the 2019-2020 Premier League season for the Golden Boot in Jamie Vardy. He only registered 2 shots in the game versus Watford. One was inside the box, one was from longer range outside the box. But he still is always going to be a threat on the counterattack. And I don't think that Brighton is going to be good enough in order to keep that structured shape. They did concede a lot of chances to Arsenal, but overall just wasn't, he just wasn't. I think he needs that extra game time in order to get back into the swing of things for Vardy, because he is obviously reliant on his pace. He obviously is reliant on getting those like in-game chances in order to score. And I think Brighton, being one of the very few easier fixtures that they have, he's going to know that he needs to obviously step his game up and help his team so they can get more points and basically maintain that Champions League spot. And I do feel that he will, like I said, catch out Brighton, especially in the second half, which they started to kind of lumber around a little bit and kind of lost a bit of focus when Nicola Pepe scored, and then kind of switched it back into gear and were able to pick up the victory at the end. I don't think Leicester is going to give them that much, breathing space, as it were. They're going to be a bit more pressured. They're going to be a bit more drilled, as Brendan Rodgers obviously has his team well organized. And lastly, I think it's just a 1-week punt. If you're going on the free hit, I think Vardy is definitely a better shout than potentially like a Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. He's obviously $1.5 million cheaper or thereabouts, and is just a very good striker overall. If you're going on a wild card, you could potentially save some money in the bank to where you can change Vardy to the likes of maybe Aguero later on, or if you wanted to risk it on Harry Kane or Aubameyang, as they do have good fixtures to end the season. And speaking of Arsenal, Aubameyang is our 4th choice here for the captaincy. He does have an away fixture versus Southampton. However, in their loss versus Brighton, he had 7 shots, which is quite a few, and 4 of which were inside the box. His XG was somewhat low, as a lot of his shots were blocked, but he is picking up good positions when he's being moved centrally. Unfortunately, he keeps being positioned out in the left flank in a 4-4-2 system or a 4-3-3 system with kind of Nketiah or Lacazette, somebody basically picking up that central role. I feel that they should just go with the likes of Martinelli out on the left wing, with Pepe out on the right wing, and have Aubameyang running through the middle, and that would favor them a lot more. Or have a strike partnership where both Nketiah and Aubameyang are playing centrally. He will pick up those good positions, he will get shots off, and he is very good from range as well as inside the box, and we know that he is on penalties if Arsenal were to get one. He will also want to make up for the last 2 games. Arsenal got 0 of 6 points in their 2 games versus Man City and Brighton, taking a defeat in both of them, and only scoring 1 goal, which more or less came out of nothing in Pepe, where he kind of just cut inside and took a shot, and it was a very good shot indeed. And he's just going to want to pick that up. He knows that he is basically the carry for the entire team. And obviously, with arguably their second best player in Leno being injured and potentially could have a serious injury at that, he's going to look to obviously step it up and be the leader on the field and potentially vie for a Europa League spot. Because I believe the last time Arsenal was actually out of Europe was around 20 to 25 years ago, something like that. And it's just in the club's nature to be in Europe, so he's going to be looking to make sure that they stay in those European spots moving on to next season. And lastly, Southampton's result versus Norwich, the team that they're going to be playing, it looked a lot better than what it was. Their XG was only 1.87, so they probably deserve 2 out of the 3 goals. However, it is Norwich. They are bottom of the table, so it probably was a little bit more inflated than normal. And Southampton are going to look to play the ball. They're going to look to be very active on it, which could open up space for the likes of Aubameyang and Pepe, and even if Martinelli plays or Nketiah, to get in behind and get the shots off and potentially pick up their first victory post break. And lastly, we have Raul Jiménez. He had 4 recorded shots in the game versus West Ham, 3 of which were inside the box, 1 of which he scored on a cross from Adama Traore. And I think Adama Traore is actually a key factor here. If he plays instead of Diego Jota in a front three with like the likes of Neto out on the left-hand side, with Jimenez running through the middle and Traore running out on the right wing. I think it provides a lot more into Jimenez, which will get him more points selfishly, and the assists will come from the likes of Neto and the likes of Traore, even though Neto did score a very good goal for their second goal versus West Ham. Traore is obviously a factor here. I think he provides more for Jimenez in particular, especially on the counter. They just seem to link up quite well, and Traore's end product is improving rapidly. Jimenez always seems to score in the last quarter of the game as well. He just never tires. He never seems to be just completely spent, and he always seems to kind of find that one chance that he can get in order to win the game for his team. And lastly, he has very, very favorable fixtures moving for the rest of the season. Obviously, with Wolves still much involved in European aspirations, he would look to obviously score those winning goals for his team in order to make sure that they secure a Champions League spot or a Europa League spot going into next season. Obviously, they still have the Europa League to look forward to after the season is over, but I don't think Wolves are going to want to take it up to chance. And with a good set of fixtures to end the season, I think that Raul Jimenez, especially in this home fixture versus Bournemouth, is a very good captaincy choice. That's going to do it for this video. Hope you all enjoyed it. Make sure to comment down below who you are going to be captaining in Game Week 31 Plus. I am personally favoring Raul Jimenez, as he doesn't look to have missed a step. He's perfectly come back in and just done what he needs to do and score for my fantasy Premier League team. And I hope he continues to do so, because I'm going to keep him in my team as long as he's going to be doing that, because it's going to give me a lot of valuable FPL points. However, things might change, because I might be looking to free hit or wildcard, but we may be discussing that on a Game Week preview stream. Make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you are new, and make sure to turn those notification bells on so that you can get the FPL content when it becomes available on our YouTube channel here. Also, make sure to give us a follow over on Twitch and Twitter, PilotFlame226. That's where we do our Game Week discussions over on Twitch, and we also post when we go live on Twitch over on Twitter, as well as when we post our new YouTube videos. We kind of tweet it out as well. And speaking of that Game Week preview that I mentioned, we're going to be doing one tomorrow before the Manchester City and Burnley game. It's going to be at 11 a.m. EST. That's what we'll be discussing, what I'm going to be doing for Game Week 31, who I'm going to be captaining, what my predictions were and how they went, and if I'm going to be using another chip, potentially a free hit or even a wild card, and I may even do some live transfers on stream. So that's going to do it. Thanks for watching, and until then, we'll see you in the next one. Take care.